Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something a lot of you have asked about, the teachings of Abraham-Hicks and the law of attraction. You're looking to really get the core ideas, maybe see how they actually work day to day. So we've pulled together quite a mix of stuff to look at.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got blog posts explaining the basics, a guide on, manifestation techniques, even a book aimed at teens. And importantly, we also looked into some, very candid Reddit discussions, people sharing their real experiences, successes, challenges, the lot. Our mission today is really to pull out the main concepts, define the key terms clearly, and just see how these ideas land with different people without getting totally lost in theory.
Okay, great. So let's jump right in. The cornerstone, the law of attraction. What's the basic principle there?
Okay, so at its heart, the law of attraction is this idea that which is like unto itself is drawn. Simple as that, really. Think of yourself like a magnet. Your dominant thoughts, your feelings. They give off a kind of vibration, and that vibration attracts experiences, people, situations that are, on the same wavelength. So positive thoughts, positive vibes attract positive outcomes. Negativity attracts negativity. That's the core.
Right. Okay. That makes a certain kind of sense. And emotions are key indicators in this, aren't they? This emotional guidance scale idea.
Precisely. Yeah, the emotional guidance scale is basically saying your feelings are like an internal GPS. They show you if you're aligned with what you want. So feelings like frustration, anger, they're lower down. They signal you're kind of vibrationally off track from your desires. But as you move up towards hope, joy, gratitude, you're getting closer, vibrationally speaking. You're aligning.
Okay. And this alignment, this is what lets you into the vortex. That sounds, well, intriguing. What is that exactly?
The vortex, yeah. It's a really central metaphor in the teachings. Imagine it like a vibrational holding space. It's not a physical place, more like a state of pure positive energy where everything you've ever asked for, everything you desire, already exists, in potential anyway. So when you manage to raise your own energy, release resistance, like negative beliefs, doubts, that sort of thing, you essentially tune in to the vortex's frequency. And that allows what you want to flow into your actual experience more easily, like tuning a radio.
Yeah.
Get the frequency right. You get the clear signal.
Got it. And how does our inner being fit into this picture? It's often mentioned as this like wiser part of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, your inner being is described as the larger non-physical part of you, the core self maybe. It's got the bigger picture. It knows all your desires, past intentions, everything. And crucially, it knows the path of least resistance. It sees how you can get into the vortex, how you can achieve things with joy, not struggle. It's like the wisest, most loving version of you, always guiding you, even if you can't see the full path from where you are right now.
Okay, so those are the big ideas. Now, practically speaking, how do people try to use these principles to, manifest things? What are the techniques?
Well, there are several key ones. First up is getting really clear on what you want, clarifying desires. It's not just vague wishing. Specificity is apparently vital. So people might write down their desires in detail, really paint the picture. Affirmations are big too. Positive statements said as if they're already true. Like, I am easily attracting abundance now. The idea is to keep focusing your energy there.
And visualization must be part of that too, imagining it like it's already real.
Absolutely. Visualization is a major one. You dedicate time to really vividly imagine having achieved your goal. And the advice is to engage all your senses. What does it look like, feel like? What sounds are there? Smells, even tastes, making it feel as real as possible to boost belief and the vibrational signal.
We mentioned the emotional guidance scale. How do you actually move up that scale if you're stuck feeling, I don't know, frustrated or worried?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question sometimes. It takes conscious effort. You have to deliberately try to find a slightly better feeling thought. It doesn't have to be a huge leap from despair to joy. Maybe just from frustration to blame, then to hopefulness. Small steps. Find something to feel slightly better about. And gratitude is often flagged as a really powerful shortcut.
Gratitude, how so?
Well, by consciously focusing on things you genuinely appreciate, right now, even small things, you can shift your emotional state pretty quickly. It lifts your vibration.
Okay. And all of this is aimed at getting into that vortex state. Are there specific things people do to help that happen?
Yes. Basically, anything that genuinely brings you joy and helps you let go of resistance works. So that could be meditation, spending time in nature, listening to music, hobbies, whatever makes you feel good and less focused on problems. Just dedicating time to appreciate things, like we just said. It's about cultivating that feeling of well-being, letting your natural alignment surface.
And letting go comes up a lot too, right? Trusting the process, not obsessing over the how or when.
Yeah.
That sounds difficult.
It is. It's crucial, but often really hard. It means trusting that the universe or your inner being has the best path sorted out. Trying to control every little detail or constantly checking, is it here yet, that actually creates resistance. It signals lack of faith vibrationally. So the advice is, do your alignment work, feel good, and trust the unfolding. Easier said than done sometimes, for sure.
Hmm. Now, you mentioned a book talked about segment intending. What's that about?
Segment intending is a pretty practical technique. It just means consciously setting an intention for the next segment of your day. Like before you walk into a meeting, you might quickly intend for it to be positive and productive. Before you call someone, intend for a good connection. It's about proactively tuning your expectations and energy for different parts of your day, aligning them with what you want.
Okay. And there's also this distinction between just doing stuff and taking inspired action.
Absolutely huge difference according to the teachings. Inspired action feels good. It flows. It comes from that aligned state, like a nudge or a sudden idea that feels exciting. That's contrasted with forced action, which feels heavy, like a struggle, something you have to do. The idea is that following those joyful, inspired nudges is way more effective for manifestation.
Okay, so that covers the framework and the how-to bits. But what about real life? You mentioned a blog post with a personal story.
Yeah, the authors shared how they first encountered Abraham-Hicks, actually through watching Oprah. And then they described experiencing these, well, what felt like synchronicities, like really wanting to go to a seminar just as a virtual one popped up.
Yeah.
They were clear they weren't an expert, but felt they'd personally benefit. They also mentioned being initially confused by terms like the Vortex, which is partly why they wrote the post to help beginners grasp the basics.
Right. And then the Reddit threads. That's where you see the real mix of experiences, I imagine. What were some of the positive things people shared?
Oh, definitely. In the threads focused on successes, lots of people talked about feeling much better emotionally. Just a general sense of improved well-being after getting into the teachings. Some shared specific breakthroughs in relationships, career, health. They often describe feeling more aligned, things flowing better. Some even said their vortex was glowing.
Huh. I like that. But then there's the flip side, that recurring question. Why are some followers apparently still broke? The Reddit discussions tackled that.
They did, and there wasn't one single answer, more like a range of possibilities people threw out there. One big one was just the difficulty of shifting really deep-seated negative beliefs about money. Past experiences, family conditioning, that stuff runs deep. It's not always a quick fix.
Makes sense. What else?
Another interesting point was about the energy of wanting. Some argue that strongly wanting something actually emphasizes the lack of it in your vibration.
Oh, right. So focusing on wanting keeps you in a state of not having.
Kind of, yeah. The suggestion was to focus more on appreciation for what you do have, cultivating the feeling of abundance now. That feeling is supposedly what attracts more. It's a subtle but maybe key difference, wanting from lack versus appreciating towards abundance.
That's a really important distinction. Were there other reasons discussed for financial struggles?
Yes, several. The need for consistent vibrational alignment was stressed. You can't just dip in and out of positivity and expect huge results, apparently. Some thought maybe people weren't fully understanding or applying the principles correctly. Misinterpretations happen. Also, the point that maybe financial wealth isn't everyone's top priority vibrationally. Maybe they're more focused on health or relationships and seeing results there instead. Someone joked, your vibe attracts your tribe, suggesting maybe people stuck in lack hang out with others who reinforce that. And of course, the idea of subconscious blocks, hidden beliefs working against conscious desires.
Wow, okay. So it's complex. Lots of potential factors at play. It's interesting that Reddit also mentioned children's books on this stuff.
Yeah, that came up. The idea of introducing law of attraction principles early through kids' chapter books. The thinking seems to be that kids might have fewer ingrained limiting beliefs, so maybe it's easier for them to grasp and apply these ideas about focusing positively. Someone mentioned a specific book using illustrations to make it accessible.
Teaching kids about the vortex. Wow, that's definitely taken it mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
And the teen book you looked at, what were the main takeaways for that age group?
That book really focused on making it practical for teenagers. So things like fostering positivity, managing emotions, which can be intense for teens, right? Using mindfulness. Also setting intentions for school, friends, goals. Using visualization. Explaining the vortex in a way they can relate to. And importantly, how to handle challenges, build resilience by focusing on their inner state and the power of gratitude and positive relationships.
So it's really about giving them tools for self-awareness and maybe self-empowerment, building confidence from the inside out?
Exactly. That seems to be the goal. Helping them see the connection between their inner world, thoughts, feelings, and what shows up in their lives. Taking a more active role.
Okay. So, wrapping this all up, what are the main takeaways from this deep dive into Abraham Hicks and the law of attraction?
Well, I think the absolute core is the power of your thoughts and feelings, that they actively shape your reality, according to these teachings. Understanding the key concepts, the vortex as alignment, the inner being as your guide, the emotional scale as feedback that's fundamental to the framework, and then there are the practical steps. Getting clear on desires, visualizing, consciously shifting your emotions upward, especially using gratitude.
And crucially, remembering the diverse experiences we saw, particularly on Reddit. It's not always straightforward.
Absolutely, that's key. While many report amazing results, it clearly requires consistent effort, deep belief, and might involve overcoming significant internal blocks, especially around things like money. It's not magic, more like mental and emotional work.
So, less of an instant fix, more a way of understanding how your inner state might influence your outer world.
Precisely. It puts a lot of emphasis on personal responsibility for your own vibration, your own focus. An ongoing practice, really.
This has been fascinating. Thanks for breaking down these complex ideas and sharing those real-world perspectives.
My pleasure. It's always interesting to see how these concepts land in practice.
Now, for you listening, as you think about these principles and the varied experiences people have, what feels like a possible first step for you? If you're curious, what resonated and what questions do you still have? Something to ponder as you continue your own exploration. Until our next deep dive.